My wife texted me at 4 a.m. Relax, I'll explain soon. I stared at my phone, the faint glow cutting through the darkness of the bedroom. My heart raced, not from anger, but from a mix of confusion, suspicion, and exhaustion. Because messages at that hour rarely carry good news. Her casual tone only made the tension sharper, as if she were trying to control the story while leaving me suspended in uncertainty. Years of experience had taught me to read between the lines, to detect the nuances of words, timing, and intent. And something in this text tripped every warning bell I had learned to trust, signaling that this wasn't a simple explanation. It was a prelude to a revelation that could upend everything. For a moment, I considered replying carefully, cautiously, attempting to coax reassurance from her vague message. But a voice inside me insisted I protect my boundaries, to maintain clarity and self-respect rather than surrendering to her late-night vagueness. So I typed a single, decisive word: no. Sending it was small in action, deceptively simple, yet it carried the weight of countless nights spent doubting, every argument looping endlessly, and all the trust one had given without equal return. The silence afterward was immediate, heavy, stretching minutes into what felt like hours. She now realized her carefully crafted message could not sway me as it had in the past. The dynamic between us had shifted, not through confrontation or anger, but through a quiet, unwavering refusal to be manipulated. Hours later, when she returned home, eyes bleary and defensively alert, I didn't confront her with accusation or fury. I remained calm, grounded, allowing her words and actions to reveal the truth themselves. The explanation she had promised was far from trivial. It involved decisions she had made without my knowledge, choices that undermined the trust one had placed in her and disrupted the mutual partnership I had assumed. Because I had responded with measured clarity at 4 a.m., I could face the conversation from a position of strength rather than reaction, asking pointed questions, demanding transparency, and refusing to be swept into the emotional storm she had set. By morning, the outlines of reality were unmistakable. Boundaries tested, trust violated, and the dynamic that had once left me vulnerable now reversed. Not through drama, but through deliberate control over my own reactions. In the days that followed, I reflected on that single word, no, and realized it represented more than refusal. It embodied empowerment, self-respect, and the willingness to safeguard oneself emotionally, even when love and habit urged compliance. Sometimes the quietest acts carry the most profound consequences. She eventually acknowledged her mistakes, expressed remorse, and sought to rebuild what had been broken. But the lesson remained. Timing, clarity, and calm assertion are far more potent than late-night explanations, persuasive words, or emotional manipulation. They allow truth to surface naturally, free from hysteria or guilt. Looking back, I understood that one small act, a refusal to be manipulated in the dead of night, shifted the balance of our relationship. It set a standard of honesty and accountability that had been absent for far too long. And in doing so, it reminded me that protecting your peace sometimes requires saying no firmly, calmly, and without hesitation, even when the world expects compliance. One word, chosen at the right moment, can change everything, turning uncertainty into clarity, vulnerability into strength, and manipulation into accountability.